Hey everyone. So today what we're going to go over is just something I've been noticing with the new Gemini 3.0 preview. I got my hands on it and started to really test it a ton for sports videos, which is something I know a lot about and is kind of my domain. So I just wanted to go over kind of what I've seen and really why I think it's kind of a breakthrough model when it comes to sports and specifically AI coaching, which is what I'm passionate about. So first and foremost, I'm just going to show you a quick video here. What you're going to see is this is a student shooting a hockey puck. Pretty low quality video, probably should be using a tripod, kind of grainy, but this is kind of what you get a lot of times from these coaches who, have probably never shot like professional quality recordings and are trying to coach in the middle of it. So as you can see here, the student takes 4 shots. He was kind of young, choppy. And what I did is I went ahead and uploaded this video to Gemini Flash, which is their old 2.5 model, which is currently what my app runs on. So what you're going to see here is I told him to watch the video, and you can see that there was some analysis done. So great. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just ask some specific questions. You can start to see this is where the model starts to break down. So for example, how deep did he bend his front knee on the first shot, and how does this compare to his last shot? So you can see that the last shot, which it thinks is 21 seconds, was 90 degrees. First shot at 9 seconds was a 105. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a 9-second, which is in fact not the first shot, but that's okay. And we're going to look. I'd say that's quite off from our 105. I'd say that's probably 130, 140. So this was kind of what I've been operating off of. So I've had to use a couple other models to kind of build my app and piece it together. And what I'm going to show you just real quick is kind of this same shot being broken down in my app. So let's go ahead and open my screen here. Okay, so what you can see here is this is the iPhone app I've built. And you can see that, again, I am able to do some shot detection. I believe we had a false flag in here because there might only be 4 shots. But in general, I used a couple different models to piece this together. And you can see that the front leg, again, having some poor detection here. As the shot goes along, like shot 2 and 4, you can see that's kind of where the front knees really has clear imaging. But due to light refraction and a few things, that front knee bend is definitely being misread as fully bent when it's not. So up until this point, there was some struggles, I think, with reliability as far as sports detection. And again, we would try and kind of use some other techniques, some algorithms and different things to kind of work around what we knew were the limiting factors. And that would be kind of something that we would have to do in the sports coaching world. So, even though my app I thought does a good job of kind of working around this and kind of doing some of that, we still struggled to truly have a really good and accurate experience. Now, what I want to kind of go over is why I think Gemini 3 fixed some of these problems. So now that you guys kind of probably understand a little bit about what was going on 2.5 and some of the shortcomings here, what I'm going to do is do this exact same video. And what we're now going to use is we're actually going to use Thinking Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this same kid shooting. And I'm just going to tell Gemini Pro, please watch this video and tell me every time the student shoots with a timestamp. Okay, so obviously because this is a pro model, this is going to take a little bit longer to load, but what we're going to get here is actually a more accurate result. And what's kind of cool here is another thing that I noticed, as a developer, is when I previously would go ahead and upload videos of people shooting, I would really have to use a low creativity level because essentially if you allowed the model to be creative, there was just such a likelihood of hallucination that you just couldn't really trust it. So you were using a lot of code and a lot of templated function calls to really build your output. So the model was doing some, I guess, flavor text, but the actual detection was not being done by Gemini. It was being done by more classification trained models that really understand the human body and how to analyze video. But what you'll see here is that out of the box, Gemini 3 actually does a great job. So we got 4, 10, and 16 seconds. So let's go ahead and double check its work real quick. So we're going to go ahead to the 4-second mark. Yeah, it's about 3, but close enough. Maybe it's looking kind of at the end point. Let's look at 10 seconds. Great, 10 seconds is right on the money there. And then once more, we're going to get now 16, perfect. And lastly, we're going to get 22. And essentially, I think that this was a hallucination, but the first 4 here is going to be very accurate. And in fact, Gemini even picks up on audio that's going on. My friend, I think, almost got hit by the puck. So it says, "You almost killed me." So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, "Tell me how much the player's front leg bent on every shot." And what's really cool is that previously stuff like knee bend, where the stick was in the shot, where the puck was in the shot, none of that was going to be able to be captured. And what you're seeing here is just incredible. Out of the box, you can see shot 1, 140 degrees. And before we were getting 90 degrees, let's go to that shot 1. Now, this is not the best camera angle, but 140, way closer to accurate than what we were seeing before. And then on shot 2, at the 10-second mark, let's go ahead here. 160. Again, it's not the best camera work, so I'll give it a break here. But we're getting much better readings here, and it really is quite incredible what we can do. After knowing that Gemini has this really strong ability to essentially watch videos or understand what's being done in a video through classification. Really reducing our dependency on specific models and classification models, like specifically on the human body, where what a puck is, what good position is, 3D models like that have understanding of position. All of that is kind of native out of the box here. So what's really cool about that is we're going to go back now to my app. Back in my app, and I literally uploaded the exact same video, and you can just see how much more accurate this data is. You can see that not only are we doing much more accurate detection of shots, we are getting those shots that are done, but what we're also getting is just much accurate scores. I mean, this is a developmental kid who really is struggling, and the scores reflect that. Before we were getting some 10s in there, some 9s. It just wasn't really accurate. And while some of the advising and and how we worked around it was kind of getting us some okay feedback for the child, what we're getting now is truly accurate. And you can see here, even in our assessment, we can see that Gemini is able to do things like say, "You are a young high energy player." Like out of the box, I don't need to tell you, teach Gemini, is it a young person or old person? I can just say coach according to how you think this person should be coached. And suddenly now, we have the ability to get custom coaching advice for that young high energy player. So things like contact, engagement, those are strength. If you were an NHL player, that's not something that you would care about seeing, but this young player, it's great advice. You can even see that Gemini in this assessment says, you are generating force by swaying your body. It's using those audio cues from the coach to reinforce and kind of make a smart coaching report here. It's even going ahead and giving us YouTube drills to reference, as well as a game plan for next practice. So personally, what I've been able to do here is take my app, which was already working pretty well with Flash 2.5, and then actually feed that initial report of what I'm capturing with object detection models, have Gemini do basically a second pass, and then have Gemini kind of use its thinking and creativity to really make a smart, intelligent, thoughtful coaching report. And it's just been night and day over the last 2 days about how accurate I've been able to kind of get these reports for these students that we coach and for these athletes. And it was already going well before but just so happy to see kind of the capabilities of Gemini in action. And I highly recommend, one, if you want to play hockey, trying out my app. It's called Puck Buddy. I'll link it below. But more so than that, just if you play sports, really going into the Google Gemini experience and starting to try this, because it just really blew my mind with how accurate it was. And while it's not going to be perfect, obviously this was not a 29-second video, it does, a great job, and it's just leaps and bounds ahead of the previous model. So as a sports expert and someone who plays around with sports AI basically on a daily basis this entire year and has been programming with it this whole year, just kudos to the Gemini team. And, if I was benchmarking this or doing some sort of assessment, I'd say it's at least 50% better at object detection just out of the box. You start to layer in some other models and logic on top of it, and you're really going to have a great tool. So thanks for watching, and comment with questions, thoughts, or sports that you might be playing and trying out with Coach Gemini here.